the shower. Just let me do this. Let me get my my live stream up on the. I had to use a walker to get in and out of the shower. I'm sorry if I'm a few minutes late. Let me just pull this up. Switch it over to Life with the Volfies. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I'm in so much pain. All righty, let's go to my channel. Man, oh, I should have shaved. Manage videos, live. And, oh, come on, you arsehole. Okay, here we go. And there we go.
Quoi? Ça? C'est la part.
Okay. How's it going? Let me just pop this up. And now they've changed the way the chat box is really small now. Even when it's popped out, it's quite small. I'll wait for everybody to come in, and I'll try and... yeah, see, this is what my hair looks like when I come out of the shower. And I just kind of throw it in a messy thing up top. I'm telling you, I got my tomato plants transplanted today into pots, and my medicinal plants into pot. Here, let's at least fix this, shall we? There we go. Let me turn this off. And I'll be right back. I just want to make sure that I'm on Do Not Disturb. Come on. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So, all right. Yes, I forgot to share this with Angie. It's a good thing nobody's here yet except my girls, because share. Please sign in to complete this action. No, share. Well, that's new. Why am I not able to share this? Says I'm not signed in. How can I not be signed in? Can you guys see me? Early for an engagement I was asked to attend last night. Just wanted to let you know. Oh, don't you worry, honey. The fact that you always show up is amazing to me. Okay, so I am here. All right. So I got Howie to pick up a bag of shrimp compost and a couple of bags of black earth and 20 pots. I told him to get 30, but he got 20. And I transplanted all my tomato plants because now here's my brain, right? They didn't do well in the peat pots. So I took the tomato plants in the peat pots and shoved them down into the thing. Why would I leave the peat pots on? So a couple of my tomatoes were doing really well. Well, not really well, but they were doing fine. But they're getting stressed, like they're not growing, but they're producing flowers. And I'm going, what the hell is on? So I popped one out of the cup. And Bev, you idiot. You left the peat pots on. So I've had to transplant all of my tomatoes all over again, hoping they will survive and be good enough to plant in 2 weeks. There was not a post. Hang on a second. Just give me a second here, guys. Let me just do this and do this and do this. And no, I can't send it to Angie if it's not on my phone. Oh, it's unlisted. That's why. Oh, for the love of Pete. I tell you guys, pain fog is a real thing. All right, here we go. Done. No wonder Okay, now let me see if it'll share. All right, here we go. We're back over here. We're back over here, and now let me see. No, it's telling me to please sign in. It's still saying it's unlisted. What the heck is going on? Unlisted, public, done, save. Holy crap. All right, now let me see if this will let me do it. Why is it telling me I've got to sign in? That's nuts. That's nuts. All right, now. That's nuts. All right, now. There. So, it's no longer unlisted. I was wondering where everybody was. Now I'm going to share this again on Facebook and on Gab. Okay. Copy. I'm just not all here, guys. I'm just not all here today. Honestly. All right, let's pop the chat back out, put it on live. Hey, Bev, the Friday Night Live Freaky Friday. Did you abruptly end it or did YouTube end it? I was just wondering because it was quit while I was typing. What do I say at the beginning or usually during every live stream on Freaky Friday? This live feed will be deleted the moment it shuts down. I shut it down, it gets deleted, right? So I'm sorry if that left you feeling off kilter or concerned. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to, oh my God. Right. Again, for those people just joining us, I quite literally just got out of the shower. And I had to use my walker, my stationary walker, to get in and out. I'm going to give everybody time to get in now while I fix my seat that I'm sitting on and get myself some medication. It's right up against my walker here so I can... Oh, I was feeling better. Ow. I was feeling better. And then I decided to transplant plants today. Now that may not seem like that would be a problem for my back. And I'm beginning to think it's not my groin, that it's my hip. And then I'm just feeling it at the groin level. Right? Hey, Linda. I'll say hi to everybody as soon as everybody is in. So the problem is I got Howie to buy me 2 bags of black earth and a bag of shrimp compost. I keep calling it mushroom compost. I don't know why. It's shrimp compost. It's all they had. So, and then I took all the tomato plants out of their cups, took the peat pots off them, replanted them. They looked terrified, scared, alone, and ill. Hopefully, over the next 2 weeks, they will be thanking mommy for saving their lives and, and forgetting that I almost killed them by accident in the first place. But the thing is, yes, I was set up at my island to transplant. But A, I had to carry all the plants over. B, there was nowhere on the island to put the bag of shrimp compost in the bag of the dirt. Oh, there's the race car. Here, I'll give you a little. He's taking it off the trailer. So they're set down on the floor up beside my island, beside my legs. And I had 2 margarine tubs not margarine tubs. I call them margarine tubs. There were 2 sour cream tubs. And I had one for compost and one. But every time I had to go down to the floor, rolling on that hip. And the more I rolled on that hip, the more I realized, oh, it's not my groin, it's my hip. Y'all getting your... he said he's rusty. He went for test and tune yesterday, and he's rusty. So anyway, and then getting up and down to put this from the cup to the 6-inch pot, reorganizing the table for the plants, and then every time I replanted like 3 pots, I had to get up and put them over on the table because I was out of room. So all this getting up and down, up and down, up and down. I've been really careful about how I get up and down and up and down. But then all of a sudden, my knee went, what are you doing? So my knee started to go as my hip was going. My left knee started to go as my right hip was going. So I'm back to the walker again for now. Howie's happy, zoom zoom. Yes, he is. And thank you, Kathy, for becoming a patron. I hope you enjoy the discount for the year purchase. Torn meniscus, and I'm seeing a specialist Wednesday. Well, Howie wants me to see a doctor. I said, doctor's not going to do anything. They can't give me anything for the pain. They can't give me any inflammatories. I've got my marijuana and my muscle relaxers and my Tylenol. That's all I can take. There's nothing else. What are they going to do? Right? And it's the only reason it's not healing is because I got shit to do. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my 2 grandsons race. Do they track race or do they drag race, hon? And my knee is all swollen and painful. No reason for it either. Well, somebody talked about lidocaine patches, and I'm wondering if I get some of them and put them on my hip and my lower back for when I sleep at night. So I don't know. I've never thought about patches, but I am going to get Howie to rub some amyl gel into my lower back after supper. Like right into my lower back, and then I can do my own hip, right? But we'll see. Not as much as they should. I like those other ones you were telling me about, Joe, but the problem with those is I can't get them here in Canada. Isn't that weird? I can't get them in Canada. Oh, hey, Trish. Okay, let me say hi to folks now. That's what I have, Voltaren Amyl Gel Cream. That's what I have. It actually works pretty good, and I don't know why I haven't been using it. All right, now let me pop out the participants. If you want me to say hi and shout you out, make sure you're here and you've said hello to everybody in chat so that your name pops up in the participation list, the participant list, okay? Here we go. Hey, aloha, Seashell. Seashell may be leaving us a bit early because she has another engagement at this point. City Girl Homestead. Hey, Crazy Becky, Aaron MH, Jill V, Joanne Nelson, Joe Mama, Kathy Pinkstaff, c'est moi, meaning it's me. Linda Bob, Linda Willardson, Lori Lazor McChesney, Pam P.S. I keep wanting to say PMS Pam for some reason. And Sherry Leach and Trish Young. How's everybody doing? Let's go back to the live chat. Put it on over here. Hi, Andrew. Hey, Pen. Jean. My hair may look good down, but it doesn't feel good down, right? I save it for special occasions, wearing it down. I really do, because I don't wear my hair down. I'm too busy digging in dirt or messing with food. I'm actually I'm going to be at the Walker at the stove making supper tonight, but I am doing a supper video because I wanted to try something new. How's Yorkshire today, darling? I think I've got an ear infection. It started yesterday. Now I have lockjaw. Oh, no, you got to go to the doctor, darling. You got to go to the doctor. I had an ear infection once because something got in it and it pushed my whole ear out and my whole jaw that way. And my head was like this. It doesn't, if you've gone from an earache to your jaw being stiff, you go straight to the doctor, straight to the doctor. Okay. Because you think about how close your ear is to your brain and your heart. Right? You don't want infection. Mouth, like teeth infections, like my teeth are falling out, right? They look up. I don't know. Look, my teeth are literally falling out from bone loss. Bone loss due to a length of time I was exposed to lead. You're on oxygen at home. Oh, but you're at home. Okay. Well, now you listen to what the doctor tells you you're supposed to do and do not. Do not sleep laying down, Joe. Okay. You want to stay upright or your lungs will fill, oxygen or not. Okay. So sleep on an incline, like put some pillows behind you. I will be checking out the channel after this. City girl, be safe. All right, you take care and don't overdo it, city girl. I know the feeling. Hey, Denise, how are you, darling? So what was I talking about before the earache? So replanting, bending down constantly, like right to the floor on a hardwood chair. My hip was just like crazy. So you have an adjustable bed. Oh, that's awesome. Well, make sure you don't lay down flat, okay? So I got all my tomatoes replanted and my medicinal plants replanted. Out of those other seeds I got as a gift of the medicinal plant seeds, 2 of them were female. I grew five grew out of 11 seeds, and 2 of them were female. So we've got medication coming. Hey, Denise. So I just said that twice, didn't I? So now Howie's got to go stop a Canadian. Sorry for the snorting. I'm still I haven't got the cold's gone, but every once in a while I'll still get a cough that'll be productive, I have to buy starts, all my tomatoes and peppers. They died? Oh. But he has to bring me home another 20 pots. Because and it's like they're $1.69 each, right? But the thing is I will use them year after year. I will use them year after year. But I was stupid, okay? I transplanted the tomato plants because they weren't doing well in the peat pots. So I put them inside of the beer cups with more soil. But I didn't take the peat pots off. So here I'm looking at my plants wondering why they're all dying, even though I transplanted them. Like the one that I cut the bottom off and replanted it, that one did fine. But they all kind of just stopped growing and started turning yellow. And hi, Lori. Hey, Mama Dukes. And so I thought, the other day yesterday, I was like, or the day before, I pulled the plant out of the cup and here's the peat pot. And it's like, ah. But you know what I did find in my tomato plants? Because some of them I planted in the peat pots. And I used soil remember I transplanted all my celery back into one big flat, right? Because they weren't doing well in the peat pots. Don't use peat pots. Don't use peat pots, okay? They weren't doing that well, so I transplanted them into a big flat. They're doing great. But I used some of the soil from those peat pots to repack the peat pot tomato plants into the red cups. You see what everything starts and ends with the friggin' peat pots. So when I was transplanting the tomatoes today, I saw tiny, tiny little celery plants coming up. So I got like 8 more celery plants. I said, oh, I'm going to give you a chance. You fought. So I put them in a beer cup. And then I've transplanted all of my tomatoes. I know, never again. Peat pots are just absolute garbage. They really are. So I'm going to show you. I've got one big pot I want Howie to bring in and empty some dirt into it so that I can replant my zinnias into a big pot. And that way they'll just be out there on the deck keeping me company. Oh, don't use the peat pellets either. The ones the discs, they're just garbage. My washer is leaking out the door of it. I cleared out from under the deck today and noticed that the contractor applies siding over our outdoor spigot. Oh my God, what a mess I have here, guys. They put the siding over the spigot? Where did you get these contractors? Out of a cereal box? The chickens are doing really well. Come here, I'll show you the plants. Give me a minute. You're going to be shocked. I don't know why that's flashing like that. You're going to be shocked at the... Oh, shoot. Hang on, guys. I've got to put my cloth up. I put a curtain so it doesn't bug us while we're watching TV. Oh. Then occasionally I use the curtain to roll out bread on. Okay. All right. So, you see that one? Remember that one that I cut the bottom off? It's looking pretty good. But look at these. These ones just were like, oh no. The peat pot, look, they're just horrible. So now they've been transplanted into black earth and mushroom compost. And look at how much happier the celery is. But look, oops, here's the little baby celeries. And my peppers now need to be transplanted. These now need to be transplanted. And so do my cabbage. But I've transplanted, you can see my marigolds. How many pots of marigolds do I have? I thought I had 3. Where's the other one? There's the other one. I cut all the flowers off, and you didn't see those. These, does anybody know if it's too early for me to plant the onions and the leeks outside? They do not like these shallow pans. But that's what they should look like. And this one is, they're already seem to be, look at this. You can't tell, but they're already perking up. They're already perking up. All right, let's go back to the office. Put my hand over it so you guys don't get seasick. Oh. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I've got to get down in this. I have to get down in this chair properly. I have to push it up against the walker or the wall. Oh, get the walker out of the way. Okay. I think I'm in zone 4B. So, you believe what? Like cool weather. They'll be back to fix their mistake. Good. Okay, that's what I was thinking, right? But I asked Jimmy about my soil today, my garden soil, and he's like, it's all too wet. Right? We just had that massive amounts of heavy rains. Thank you, Kathy. But what I could do, because I can't do it myself, is I could get Howie. I've got 3 beds Like I got the 2 beds of garlic, 3 empty beds, and then 2 tubs, like totes of garlic growing. But I have those 3 beds. I want to keep the garlic and the onions and the leeks all kind of in the same area. So if Howie just kind of just shovels some dirt off, because I want to keep the dirt, you know, the dirt gets topped up every year because I lose dirt. Found a slug in my kale this morning hiding in the dirt after it had a snack for a flying lesson across the yard. If you have, does anybody in your house drink beer? Trish? Take a can of beer, let them drink it down to the, liquid and foam at the bottom. Dig a hole next to the plants that are getting worried by slugs and bury that sucker right to the rim with the lid open. They will go nuts for beer and they will get drunk and drowned. So had a good weekend, spent some time in the hot tub. I wish I had a hot tub. Use Bud Light. There, yeah, use Bud Light. Right? So, hey, Phoebe, how are you, darling? How's Alberta today? Use Bud Light. That's right, eh? I gotta tell people I'm offended. People are misgendering me. They're calling me cisgendered. I ain't cisgendered. I'm a woman. Okay? Yeah, how bad? How bad is it, honey? Like, are you anywhere near where the fires are? Because I just heard about that this morning. Yes, beer gets slugs. Beer gets slugs. Oh, my yard. My grow boxes and stuff, my raised beds, I wish I could put them up one more tier. But I don't have any pallet collars. And I can't put them up one more tier. I mean, I would need 20 of them. 20 or 21 of them just to raise all of my back beds up a tier. So let's just hope. I'm starting to think it's my hip, folks, because I'm feeling it while I'm sitting down. It's not, when the groin's not hurting, but now my my right hip is. So I'm starting to think I'm in the central part, so I'm safe, but the fires are all around us. Oh man, that's gotta be poor air quality for you guys if you're right in the middle of it. I've got a $12,000 hot tub and only used it 4 years. Now it just sits there. Scott can't use it. He can't breathe well in it. So, but why don't you use it? I mean, I understand that Scott can't because of his health conditions, but you got a knee that pops out sideways sometimes when you overdo it. Your knee is all inflamed. You should be icing shit and then getting in the hot tub and then icing it again. I'm no smoke at all? Holy crap. Yeah, I wish we still had our hot tub. We paid $150 for it, brought it home on the roof of the minivan, strapped to the roof of the, what did we have? It wasn't, we had a Chevy Ventura. I love that van. Even though it's a slide off. Well, what we did was, the one we bought was like an indoor model. So Howie put it out on the deck, and he built a box around it and wired it all up. And then we built a lid for it, a double lid for it, like one side each. And put green vinyl on the top, and we put styrofoam, but the kind with the shiny side under the lid to keep the heat in. We had that thing for 2 years. It was awesome. Well, the swimming pool, I'm pretty sure next weekend Howie's going to be puttering, because if nothing else, he's got to get my beds moved. I talked to Jimmy about Phil, because I'm looking for Phil. Not a person. Phil for my ravine. I don't want clean Phil. It doesn't have to be clean, which is just boulders and sand and gravel. No, the fill I want, it's like if you just tore down a house or a barn and there's bricks and wood and stumps and cement blocks and hunks of concrete. Oh yeah, pour that shit down back there. And then I'm going to get 2 loads of topsoil. You made the worst jar of grape jelly ever. What'd you do? Kill it? Sorry, Karen. Enjoy the rest of the day. Gotta go. Okay, Pen. Thank you, darling. We had a black bear walking down the sidewalk across the street. What a sight. That was not to mention a first for us. Well, the bears, me seeing the bears in my pear tree was the first for me. Yeah, what happened? Did you undercook it? Did you use too much juice? Remember, when you're making jelly, never use more than 6 cups of juice to 6 cups of sugar at any one time, or you're going to be standing there forever. And when it does thicken, it will be like molasses rather than jelly. Take care, sweetheart. So yeah, I've got to replant, and it's only 2 weeks to putting them in the garden. But the truth is, I need them healthy to go in the garden. Period. Full stop. So and everyone's going to say, oh, you planted them too soon. No, they would have been fine in the cups if I hadn't left the peat pots on. The bag said seedless, and I spent an hour picking out seed. What an episode. For grapes? Oh, see, when I make grape jelly, I just boil them grapes and then I strain it through a bag or a sieve lined with a pillowcase or something. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I'm making supper tonight. Now, put up your hand, use the hand icon if you've ever made fried noodles and cabbage. I'll wait for the hands, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to try and do. Because the last time I made it, I used fresh cabbage, and I used bacon, right? And it was okay, but it wasn't what it was. Well, I thought of a new method, and I'm going to be making it with dehydrated cabbage. It was only 1 pound of grapes. I need a good recipe. I wanted to use the whole grape. I've never made fried noodles and cabbage. I have both. Okay. The method is very, very simple. Okay. You wash your grapes. And if you want grape jelly, use Concord grapes. Wash your grapes. All right. Put them in a pot. Just cover them with water or a little more water. And simmer them and mash them down with a potato masher and let them simmer for about an hour. Okay? Then you put a strainer and you put a thin pillowcase in the strainer lining it. And you put that over a stock pot and you pour off the juice. You pour everything into the strainer and you lift the pillowcase and you tie it off and you hang it on a cupboard door to drip over the pot. Never squeeze the bag. Never squeeze the bag or you won't get clear jelly. So you let that drip overnight. And then you measure out. You measure out 6 cups of juice, 6 cups of sugar, and you cook it till it sheets from a spoon. Never more than 6 cups of jelly or 6 cups of juice. Okay? I use bacon grease to cook the cabbage and onion. Me too. But tonight, now, if this has been done before, please tell me and give me a name for it because I don't know what I'm making. Got some bratwurst sausages. I got how he'd take out of the freezer. Now, I don't have any egg noodles, and I'm not making any egg noodles, but I do have pasta. And I tried this the other day at lunch. I take I bring my water to a boil for my pasta noodles. and then I dump them in, and then I dump in the cabbage, and I salt the water, and I cook the pasta and the dehydrated cabbage in the same water. And they both come out cooked exactly at the same time. Then you strain them, and I'm going to take onions and peppers and bratwurst, and I'm going to julienne the bratwurst, and I'm going to fry them with some bacon grease in the onions. And then I'm going to, our granddaughter Penelope wants to say hello to everyone for her. Hi, Penelope. Hi. My daughter's grapevine is going to give her millions of grapes this year. There you go. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the pasta noodles and the cabbage together, and I'm going to fry up the pieces of bratwurst and onions together, and I'll throw peppers in at the last. And then as soon as that's ready, I'm going to strain the cabbage and the noodles and dump it right into the frying pan, sear it all over, and then drop it with some sour cream on the plate. Like put it on the plate and drop it with sour cream. Please tell me if that sounds disgusting or good. I need your honest opinion. I made a cabbage casserole last night. It was great. Did you do the deconstructed cabbage roll one? Okay. Well, that's what I'm making for supper tonight. Hey, Penelope. Someone's saying hi. Oh, I better plug my phone in or we're going to lose it here. Sorry about that. So that's what's for supper. Hey, you know what? I made the deconstructed cabbage rolls the first time I made them with fresh cabbage, and Howie he was like, they're okay. You know, he said it's good. It tastes like cabbage rolls, but the taste and the texture are two different things. When I used the dehydrated cabbage, worked out much better. Much better. No peppers, otherwise yum. Well, you don't even need the peppers because you got the cabbage and the onions as your veg, right? At the bigger fairs, they sell cabbage and noodles. Really? I'm canning cowboy candy. Okay, isn't that candied jalapenos or something? I don't know. Somebody gave me a jar of jalapeno jelly once, and I'm like, I won't even, Howie liked it, Briar liked it, but I'm like, I won't even try it. And they're like, why? I said, because it's jelly and jalapenos. Sugar and jalapenos. Might taste good to you, but I'm not there. It's like mint jelly. Oh, let's have lamb and mint jelly. I'm not a fan of lamb. The only lamb I really like is ground lamb when I make my kofta that I got in Egypt. I'm making egg rolls. I'm not a fan of sausage. I use kielbasa in my cabbage and noodles. Well, I think these are different than, they're not regular sausages. They've got like a skin on them. They almost look like a hot dog. But kielbasa would work too. But kielbasa here is really expensive. Really expensive. Does anybody know what a Raslet griddle is? I really like the ceramic smoker Bev got. I have no idea. Anybody who tried to buy that smoker, I don't get any kickbacks from that. Anybody who tried to buy that little, they said that the coupon code wasn't working. It is working now. And even if you want to buy it later in the summer, that coupon code will still work. Okay. This recipe has cabbage, onion, butter, salt, pepper, cream of chicken soup, mayonnaise. The top gas, a sleeve of crushed the top has a sleeve of crushed rich crackers, butter, and shredded cheese. Oh my God. You'd leave out the sour cream? Well, we'll see. But I mean, doesn't it make sense that if you got lots of, because I'm telling you, I got somewhere in the nature of like 12 or 16, 12, somewhere around there, cabbage plants. Last year I planted 5 and we just finished eating them. So this year I'm planting a lot more cabbage, and you know what? I'm also going to do something else. Okay. I'm reading this book again. To save the seeds for planting. I bought 3 different squashes for the seeds. I've been reading the book, The Help again. I love that book. I love books that are such a good story that you can read them over and over again. So I have this, I'm like my dad. My dad had this whole collection of books, and then he would rotate them. He would just read through them when he got bored, or he'd go to the library and get something new. And I read something new. But when you're laying in bed and you're trying to relax, you want a friend. You don't want something that's going to keep you sitting on the edge of your seat trying to find it. You already know the ending. So it's just the comfort of kind of like friendship to empty your mind by reading a book. So I've been reading this book. I know I'm going all over the place. I'm reading this book, The Help. The movie was good, not as good as the book. The book was really good, but the movie was really bloody close. So Abilene says that she lends her backyard out because she works full time. She lends her backyard out to her neighbor because her neighbor's yard is full of, broken washing machines and stuff that her husband's always bringing home and saying he's going to fix up and sell, right? So she let her neighbor use her backyard, and she put in a great big garden, and she says, and I can go out and help myself to a bit of poke salad or tomato or something. Everyone, she said, but every winter, she said she shares what she cans, and she cans cabbage and tomatoes. And I went, that's really high acid, but delicious stuff. Cabbage and tomatoes. So what if I can shredded cabbage and tomatoes together this year, along with my, that gave me that idea. Plus, because I do my garden medley vegetables, which is tomatoes, celery, peppers, onions, and zucchini. I don't even think I put onions in it. I think it's just, got a plethora of, what I got growing in the garden. I got leeks, I got onions, I got lots of celery, I got tomatoes, I got zucchini coming out the yazoo. So I make what I call a garden medley vegetable mix. And you guys have all seen this, right? And it's amazing to add a can of tomato paste to, or some powdered tomatoes, so to thicken it up and use as a spaghetti sauce, and everything came out of the garden. But I like the idea of canned shredded cabbage and tomatoes together. As a matter of fact, give me a second here. I'm going to see if this is even on, if anybody's done it on YouTube. Canned cabbage and tomatoes. Cabbage, tomato, cabbage plants. Okay, so folks, if you see, hang on a second, I got to find my chat again. If you see somebody canning cabbage and tomatoes on YouTube before harvest time, you'll know they got the idea from me. But I like the idea. Now, here's what I'm thinking. For making deconstructed cabbage rolls. Yes, Pam, exactly. Or even a soup, like a minestrone soup or something. I make cabbage and tomato soup that's delish. Thicken it a bit with brown flour to give it a zest. Oh, well, there you go. But I won't, remember the video I made of me re-batching canned tomato soup? It never tasted right. So that was something I don't recommend, recanning store-bought canned soups. But if you got somebody drops off 10 number 10 cans of tomatoes, yes, go ahead and, like my cousin Dee Dee once said, I got given a couple of big 10-ounce cans of mandarin oranges. Can I recan them? I said, sure. I said, just make sure you add more sugar to the water and you can boil bath can them. So I think that's what I'm planning. Well, you're welcome, Pam. You're welcome. I mean, there's canning tomatoes, But I don't necessarily eat a lot of canned tomatoes anymore. I actually can see me, like, instead of having one night, if I don't, Howie's at the races and I don't want to eat, opening up a pint of cabbage and tomatoes and a handful of pasta. Yum, supper. Ever made runza or runza casserole, also known as cabbage roll or cabbage burger? So amazing. It's a Nebraska favorite. I think that's what we call deconstructed cabbage rolls. Is there rice in it? If there's rice in it, it's a deconstructed cabbage roll. Because all a cabbage roll is meat, fried meat and onion and rice rolled into a cabbage leaf and covered in tomato sauce and baked, right? I was thinking of shredding it in place of pasta noodles and maybe dehydrate some. Well, I know one thing's for sure. I'm going to be on a hunt for a zucchini spiral cutter because I saw something like that on a site. She gave instruction for dehydrated cabbage and a couple of recipes. Okay, Bev, my dear friends, my ride is here. Have a pleasant week. See you all on Thursday. Peace, love, and aloha. I hope I see you tomorrow, honey, in the Patrons Live. Take care. Have a great time. Mwah. I love you. I love you, show. I'm going to have to get a cabbage at the store this week. I know I'm just, see, freezing the cabbages, Howie said they tasted bitter, and I found out why. Because I was freezing them in quarters and I was leaving the core on. And apparently if you leave the core on, it makes your cabbage bitter. This one is like a pizza pocket with fried beef, onions, and shredded cabbage. Cheese if you want. Oh my God, these are awesome ideas. Morel mushrooms? No, I have never dehydrated morel mushrooms. If I was ever lucky enough to find morel mushrooms, we ate them fried in butter. But I'm not a gadget person, but every once in a while I'll see something that makes sense. Hey, Mary Jo. It's been a while since I've been here. I've been missing the live chats. Well, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Sandy Brown. So that's something I'm going, because last year I only planted 7 cabbage and we just finished eating them. And those ones that I dehydrated, I'm like, everybody else, oh, soups and stews and casseroles, but what else can you put it in? You can put it in a lot of things, right? Hi, Ninja Clan Kathy. How are you? Joanna Parrish. We eat our morel mushrooms, but we found over 5 pounds worth. I thought I could store some. You can. But do not dehydrate them raw. Please blanch the mushrooms until they're almost cooked. A, it gets rid of the dirt. And B, it makes them rehydrate better. Always, always, always. If you're slicing and dehydrating mushrooms, don't dehydrate them dry. They'll just, you'll be no good for anything but powder. So slice them. Blanch them in boiling water until they're really good and floppy, and then dehydrate them, okay? Who's coming in now? Thanks for joining in. Everyone go make runzas. I use the frozen bread loaves in a pinch. Make dozens at a time. Okay, somebody send me a recipe on connectedheartsfamily@gmail.com. Okay, Willows, I love you. Beth, runza is bread dough filled with hamburger, onion, cabbage, and baked in fist-sized pieces. Okay, is the hamburger and the onion and cabbage cooked? And then you just make like a ball of dough and push it in and close it? All right. Okay, I'm writing it down. Somebody send me the recipe at connectedheartsfamily@gmail.com so that I can have an actual good idea, because I've never heard of them. I've never seen them. I've never eaten them. So I want to make sure I know what I'm doing right. Freeze-dried mushrooms, and they were amazing. Bread dough filled with hamburger. It's like a pierogi, so it's cooked. But it's not noodle dough. It's bread dough, and you bake it? Ooh. Ooh. Well, I got dehydrated cabbage. I've got ground beef. I've got onions. I'm imagining it's like Hot Pockets. Okay. So I think the trick would be to make the bread dough. Divide it up for the first rising into how many balls of dough you want. Divide them up for the first rising. And then let them rise, punch each one down, fill it, stuff it, and let them rise again and bake. There's the recipe. Cook hamburger with onions, drain, add shredded cabbage, fry that until the cabbage is soft. Then wrap in bread dough and bake. Bake at 350, 375, 400. How long? Hi, Teresa. How are you, darling? Okay. All right. But if somebody... Okay, what are they called again? Runzas? Am I saying it right or is it runza? I'm planting a lot of zucchini. Have I ever cooked meatloaf on top of the stove? No, but I've cooked it in a crock pot. Hi, Regina. How are you? Is it Regina? I have never cooked a meatloaf on top of the stove. Never. 350 until it's golden. Hey, crazy. It's like a Hot Pocket traditional dipping sauce Italian dressing. Really? So we're talking about these Okay, can somebody phonetically spell it for me? Runza? I'm going to try and make runza using frozen roll dough. I saw a guy make these breakfast sandwiches with Gran's biscuits, and he goes, see all them yellow things? That's butter in there. No, it's not, guys. All those yellow dots in the biscuits, Gran's, that's called hard fat. They used to use it to make puff pastry in our bakery, in the bakery where I worked. Runza. Runza. So they're called runzas. I make meatloaf ingredients to make hamburgers. You know, I made meatloaf ingredients to make my meatballs, and I didn't like them in my spaghetti because it was like somebody put meatloaf in my spaghetti. It just didn't taste right. Runza. You're making me hungry. Good thing I'm making freezer wraps tonight. Well, I'm about to go and make fried cabbage and noodles. Simple fried cabbage and noodles with bratwurst. That's what I'm making. There are a lot of videos for runza. Well, I saw this guy take Grand biscuits and put them in, like spray a muffin tin, push the biscuits in, bake them, and then push something like a spice bottle when they came out right down in. And then he'd drop an egg yolk in and some cheese and some salt and pepper and garlic and little cooked bacon pieces on top. And then he put more biscuit lids on top, like he broke the biscuits in half and put them on top and baked them. Just made a shake with pineapple and milk. Delicious. Same recipe for hamburger and meatloaf. Well, yeah, it's one thing for I'm different about hamburgers and meatballs. I don't want bread in my hamburgers and meatballs when I'm using them for spaghetti and stuff. Not runza, runza. Runza. Dunza. Okay, runza dunza. Okay, that is really good to know. I'm going to find something. If you guys could only see my desk, you would just laugh uproariously and wonder how the hell that I keep knowing where everything is. And that's another grocery list. If Howie's shopping, I make the grocery list and I take a picture of it. You know why? Because if I send him in just a link or just words and text, he ignores it. Okay, runza. Runza. Fried burger, onions, and cabbage. Fill bread. Bake. $3.50 for how long? Till golden. Okay. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it. Before baking, like mozzarella, I don't have any mozzarella, I don't think. 2 small loaves and place them in a large skillet and brown on low. They then turn them over. Is that for meatloaf? Okay, Lori, you feel better, sweetheart. Mwah. My partner today gave his mom about 4 boxfuls of food because she had pretty much no food. And we go over, buy, and garden. I guess we don't. We overbuy and garden, I guess. You don't overguard. Well, I mean, you do what you do, right? You saw what $390 bought. And, the most expensive stuff was like the meat and the flour. But the flour is only $25 a bag. And it's in the freezer. So I've got lots of flour. And hopefully I will be getting more. But I've got to take the Robin Hood out. Remember the 2 bags of Robin Hood I bought? I took one out, filled my can, filled my big tub, right? So pretty soon I'm going to be filling up jars again. Costco hamburger buns with a 1-inch burger that fits the whole bun. Ooh, that sounds so good. Well, absolutely, Lacey Black. Absolutely. Where did I see that? Well, I mean, nobody leaves my house empty-handed. But my kids look at my pantry. They don't come home very often anymore. But they also look at my pantry as mom's store. And they don't pay. They just, and it's okay. You know why? Because why do you think I can so much? Right? When I learned the hard way that when the pandemic happened and we got my sister up here out of the city for 3 months because she was living in a 22-story high-rise with only 4 elevators. And, and she had underlying conditions. And we, at that point, knew nothing about COVID. This was in spring 2020, right? So even though my pantry was well stocked, having an extra person here for 3 months made a difference, right? You can because you can. That's right. Okay, confession. If I owned a food truck, I would try deep fat frying a Rinza and make $1 million and skip away fat and happy. I have a deep fryer. I don't use it. I thought about that. I got a small deep fryer, just the kind where you scoop them out. They give you a ladle and you scoop out the fried stuff. It's just a little deep fryer. I'll tell you what, a deep fried pierogies. Ooh. But what's even better than deep frying pierogies is you lift them out, like put them in the boiling water till they float, then lift them out, and then put them in the hot fat just to get golden. Oh my God. She's on a fixed income and her son-in-law now is charging her $600 just to live in their house. Well, if she's living in their house, why aren't they feeding her? Or is it a separate apartment? Absolutely, Phoebe. Absolutely. And Jimmy Carroll came today. Now, I don't know if this is a guy thing or if Jimmy knew what I was talking about, because I said I want 2 loads of fill, good loads of fill. I don't care if it's stumps and rocks. And then I want 2 loads of topsoil and then a load of garden soil, in the pile, so I can top up my beds and make more beds. Matt threw my little deep fryer away. He said I was dangerous with it. Well, yeah. I'm trying to expand my canning knowledge and love to help my kids. They love my chocolates and baking. Well, I mean, this is the deal, right? We're all going back to our grandparents' roots. Why? Because we've been let down over and over and over again over the last 2 generations by corporations and governments that say, oh, we're going to regulate how food is sprayed, and we're going to regulate this and regulate that, and we're going to charge you lots of money. But there are things that they don't regulate, like the lining in the cans. They don't label things if they're GMO. They only label them if they're not. You know what I mean? We can no longer, and our governments are like, climate crisis, climate crisis. No, it's called climate change, and it's a very naturally occurring thing. You want to deal with pollution? Then let's help India, get rid of pollution. But this carbon footprint bullshit, it's just bullshit. We are carbon-based materials. I actually saw somebody say, oh, they're going to start telling people that trees require too much oxygen, so they're going to cut them down and place fields of solar panels. Does anybody know what's wrong with that statement? Exactly. Does anybody know what's wrong with that statement? Trees do not do not breathe oxygen. They breathe in carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen. Trees are our friends. That's why we don't cut trees down if we don't have to, right? All right, Joanne. So we are going back to our grandparents' times. Why? Because the world has gone absolutely batshit crazy. And Trudeau telling, oh, woke this, and Pierre Poilievre, you need to wake up. Well, I don't give a shit about politics. These guys aren't going to fix anything. These guys aren't going to fix any. Yeah, because of the amount of trees, Phoebe. These guys aren't. You try and fix the world with politics. It's like trying to fix a cracked foundation by starting at the point of the pyramid. Didn't work that way. Okay? You want to see something really scary? I saw a video of a woman being interviewed by Joe Rogan, and she was telling how they're building schools in China now where everything is AI. The kids wear these bands. Okay? I don't know what this does, but it tells the teacher if they're losing their interest or if they're not looking or if they're sitting there daydreaming. They're working on laptops. They have these things. AI is in the entire classroom so they can get every movement, every facial expression, absolutely everything. Okay? Tell me what the damage of that amount of Wi-Fi and electronics around these children are going to do. But they're training them like rats in a cage. They really are. That's right, Phoebe. We're going to take care of ourselves to the best of our abilities. Hey, Matthew! Our government are going electric vehicles in the military. What hogwash? Bullshit. Honestly. Okay. You got a battery for an electric vehicle. Let's say an SUV, an electric SUV, right? The battery for that SUV causes 75% more pollution in the mining process than what you're saving by driving it. Does anybody not hear what I just said? Bees and trees, man. Bees and trees. The mining operation to get enough lithium and other stuff for one electric car battery pollutes 75% more than the actual car will save on pollution. And then God help us if that battery or that car catches on fire, because it's like a mini Chernobyl going off on the side of the highway. And they have no way of safely putting them out. They poison the air if they catch on fire. So I know this is what I'm supposed to talk about on Rumble, but I can't go on live on Rumble yet. I'm just saying, do your research. I'm going to tell you something too. And don't Google it. Download something called Search Encrypt. Okay? Let me just give you the link here. This is called Search Encrypt. Why is it called Search Encrypt? Because it's not following algorithms. It's not doing anything other than searching. It's a search engine without any ulterior motives. Okay? Google, and DuckDuckGo is now owned by Google. Google and all these guys, they don't just search stuff. They're collecting data on how we search, what we search, why we search. AI is a scary thing that's coming really too fast for us to be able to understand the damage it can do. I was at Fry's Kroger's yesterday, and they had only one checker. I watched in absolute disbelief while she explained to a customer not everybody could handle being a cashier. Those were the 2-year jobs. When I say, does anybody lived through the Canadian public school system know what I mean when I say 2-year? I missed the Runza conversation. This is all such nonsense. I'm glad you're here to tell the truth, and I'm very proud of you, Bev, for being brave enough to say it. Well, it's almost too late, right? But the truth is, here's the truth. The unvarnished truth. Okay? We're not on the brink of World War III. They're just trying to scare the shit out of us. Everything's dying down. But the truth is, everybody's been kept in a constant state of flight or fight for 3.5 years, that when things just go, oh, there's no more trouble, people are left with this excess negative energy that has been fed to them and pushed on them and battered them for years. So people are going to start going crazy. They're going to just start popping off and doing weird shit, right? They can go electric when it gets cold. They'll regret it instantly. Yeah. Well, Howie actually went to buy a new car, but it found out that, we're not getting a new car. They're way too expensive. And we can't afford, even if he trades in, even what they were giving him for a trade-in on his car, we can't afford the extra payment. So he's just going to have to buy wheel bearings and all kinds of shit for his accent. And, well, I wasn't going to say that. Kathy. Yeah, but it's going to be worse. When there's nothing left to frighten us with, people are going to actually be addicted. Hear me. If not addicted, they're going to be programmed to need stress, or they don't feel normal. Now, when I say programmed, I mean all of this flight or fight stuff. You think about this, what this does to the human psyche, if it's on mainstream media, social media, censorship, presidents and prime ministers and world leaders going nuts. And finding out that there's an elite that does horrible things to children, all these things going on, right? That we've been battered with. You feel like think about it this way. You're cramped in a barrel. You're cramped in a barrel for a very, very, very long time. Okay? You're sitting stuck in a barrel for a long time. Hours and hours, maybe even days. Okay? And then one day, somebody just comes and takes the rings off the barrel and the staves fall apart. And they expect you to get up and walk normally. They expect you to function normally. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, they expect you to function because you've just been released from this bondage. But you can't. Why? Because you've been in a barrel for so long that you don't know whether your body parts are going to break off if you try and stretch or if you're just going to fall apart. The mental, see, it's not just physical, the mental and emotional battering that we've been under for 3.5 years has skewed everything we have, that is skewed all our senses, has skewed all sense of normalcy. So if we try to go back to normal, they expect us to just go back to our jobs, back to teaching, back to classrooms, back to social things, when we have been restricted and for so long, and put down and frightened and told, you stay in your barrel or you're going to die. And then all of a sudden the threat's not there anymore, and we've been in a barrel for 3.5 years. People I know of are signing on for 15% interest rates. It's like a credit card. My bank sent me an email offering me 6 on a new vehicle. Say, you know what my mortgage payment is? 2.9. I locked it in for 3 years. I still got 2 more years. Well, the thing is what we've gotten used to isn't just high interest rates and low interest rates and high gas prices and stuff. They have been trying to terrify us into submission for years. They thought they had us because they started out and out lying on mainstream media, censoring social media, hoping that we would all stay in our barrels. But not everybody accepted the barrel. A lot of us learned how to do our exercises inside the barrel and learned how to plan what we were going to do when we got out of the barrel. You understand? Well, we got 2 years left paying on the truck and the car. So I said to Howie, I said, you know what? We're just going to have to start fixing your car before it dies. Right? You're going to have to get new bearings. You're going to have to get new ball joints. You're going to have to, all of these things. You're just going to have to start saving money and start putting money into your car like you do into your race car kind of thing. Wait a while before I think about getting a new one. I'm not going to get a new one. My truck is my truck. Howie's working at a deal with his boss, I hope, so that he can go in on a Saturday and fix the box side that I scraped and a couple of dents and give it a good cleaning and all that stuff. I'm so happy that I've gotten out of that mindset of watching the news. See, I can watch the news. Okay. Watching the news at all that, because it just drives you insanity. That's the least one good thing about my stroke 3.5 years ago. Good for you. You had a stroke, Lacey? Wow. Well, I can watch the news now. I can watch the news and it doesn't make me angry. It just makes me shake my head and go, give me, we just finished watching all 3 seasons of The Boys on Prime. It's not your average superhero show. It's kind of like Marvel meets Bad Santa. You know what I mean? Only worse. So, hey, Muriel. Hi, honey. How are you? So I can watch the news now, but I just don't. It's like, okay, I'll watch something if it's worth watching, right? Like fires, they're actually reporting real news now. But I will never forget that mainstream, like our CBC News should have a tag that says funded by CBC News, funded by the government, because it is. It is, right? So how can we expect anything other than government propaganda from you try and live debt free? Exactly. So we're going to keep Howie's car running. We'll make sure we sink money into it when it needs money sunk into it. We're going to fix fix the body and clean my truck, and it's a use as needed only. You notice I don't go out running the roads anymore, going picking up Briar and stuff. I don't. Gas is too expensive. It's back up to over $1.60 a liter. And there's 3.76 liters in a US gallon, so check that out. But that is my thing too. But now I found out that, I'm gonna be paying, in order to get my taxes from last year done. And it's not 10,000, it's 8. There was obviously some mistake, and there's a couple of things I got to check. I got to phone Revenue Quebec tomorrow and say, no, you don't get to charge us for drug plans because my husband has one at work and we've been using it for a year, right? You really got to check these things. They're charging us for this, charging us. Wait a second. Is this one mine or is this one Howard's? This one's mine. Okay. So they charge me Q-HIP, which is Quebec health insurance plan, is $352. They charge me that. $4,500 for my QPP, Quebec pension plan income, because I'm self-employed. $150 to the health services fund. What is that? And then premium payable under the Quebec prescription drug insurance plan, $710. So here is, I'm going to say $860 on both our taxes. That isn't ours to pay because Howie gets his through work. And it's illegal to accept Quebec health plan, drug prescription plan, if you actually have one through work. And that's what we've been doing. Howie hasn't been out of work in over a year, right? I almost pay $5 in Arizona. Oh my God, Trish, really? You're in Alberta, right? Or BC? Well, of course it's Turdo's carbon taxes. It's the stupidest thing I've ever effing heard of. We're going to tax you for all the pollution. Next thing you know, he's going to be saying you have to pay more because you drive a truck. You're going to have to pay more because you drive a compact car instead of an electric car. When does he draw the friggin' line? Okay? This is absolutely insane. You're going to tax people into submission. Well, guess what? We are one of the highest tax countries in the world, and we ain't submissive yet. There's a lot of people out there that are just robots for the Liberal Party, but not here. Not me. Right? You can't say, okay, we're going to bill everybody this carbon tax, and that way we'll put the money towards cleaning it up. No, you don't. You go to the companies that are polluting, and you don't say, I'm going to fine you. You shut them down, and you say, fix this, and fix it before you open up again. Because guess what? We've all learned how to live without all of these, with all these shipping problems. We've all learned. See, what they did was they did all this stuff to push us into submission, separated us from our families, separated us from our holidays and our religious gatherings, separated us from each other, from our work, from our restaurants, our entertainments. You separated us from everything. And now you expect us just to swallow this bull crap? Some of us aren't so accepting. Some of us didn't get the brainwash, right? You don't stop pollution by taxing because large companies just pay it like it's a fine and they keep on doing what they want to do. But people like us, We're told that we're supposed to be in an electric car by 2030 when those cars are worth more than my house twice over. We are carbon-based life forms. Next thing you know, remember the song Tax Man? Gonna tax the air you breathe, tax the feet you walk on. Hell, I'll tax the pennies on your eyes when you die. It didn't start with COVID, Linda. It didn't start with COVID. It started a long, long time ago. This started with Crisco. That was the first big breakout. And I'm going to give you guys a link. This woman is, in my heart, is one of the most famous women around. Whoops. This woman is responsible for one of the most biggest changes in my life. Oh, the Weston A. Price Foundation. No, we're not going to get the story from you. We don't believe you. Mother Linda's The Rise and Fall of Crisco. Here we go. I want everybody to read this. Where's my chat? I want everybody to read this, especially if you use Crisco, okay? Read this afterwards, all right? Mother Linda's The Rise and Fall of Crisco. Crisco was the first artificial food. Artificial food. And then they went to margarine and all kinds of other things. And it's scary at how easy they got things passed. Then came genetically modified food. And they did the same thing as they did with Crisco. They got a doctor, they got a scientist, that were paid off basically and said, yeah, if it looks like food and it tastes like food, it is food. But it's not, it's genetically modified. And yes, I know that the birds I'm raising out there are a result of genetic modification back in the 70s. They don't even have to do that anymore. They just keep that breed alive and they grow big and they grow fast and they're 5 times the size of my laying hens. The laying hen chicks that I bought as a dual purpose bird, which means they can be good for meat or eggs. No Crisco or margarine, exactly. And don't believe it when someone says margarine was meant to fatten turkeys. No, it wasn't. Margarine was not meant to fatten turkeys, okay? Margarine came after Crisco because the scientists in the Crisco learned how to hydrogenate cottonseed oil. That's what Crisco is, hydrogenated cottonseed oil. And they said, well, since it's a seed, it's technically a plant, therefore it's vegetable. But it's the hydrogenation process that really, really messes things up, right? So like Angie, my cousin Angie saying, Bev, what are you doing? Because I was making spreadable butter with sunflower oil and butter. And she said, oh, sunflower oil is this, this, and this. I said, it's cold pressed sunflower oil. And if it's between butter, spreadable butter made with butter and sunflower oil or olive oil and margarine, I will take the spreadable butter every time. A yellow into the margarine in the 60s and 70s. Yes. My dad used to say that. They come with a little packet of yellow stuff to mix it in to make the Crisco look like butter. And they add they're obviously it's like Crisco with salt. You know what I mean? And coloring. And guess what? I never met my grandmother on my dad's side. She died when my dad was 8. Like my mom died when I was 9. But that's one thing my grandmother would never do. They would eat bacon drippings and roast drippings on their bread, but she would not bring margarine into the house. She called it axle grease, which is not a far off comparison. Hi, Raph. That's right. I mean, I'm reading the book, The Help, and there's many like, okay, the first thing and everybody needs to know about cooking is Crisco. You know, zipper gets stuck, gum gets in your hair, door hinges squeak, you know, blah, 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 blah. Crisco. And then she said, and after all that, it can fry your chicken. I'd reuse it for anything but food. Trust me. Can Crisco use as emergency candle at a wick? Yeah. As a matter of fact, you don't add a wick to just the Crisco. You put it in little jars and add a wick. That way, it's, you know, it's, here's a really easy candle. You got this? You got Crisco? Fill up a small canning jar, like a jelly jar, or even a smaller half jelly jar size, right? Fill it with Crisco to this far from the top. Punch a hole in a canning lid. Screw it down on top. Put the wick down into the Crisco, feed it up through the hole and screw it on. You now have a lantern. Hey, Laurie Shaw, Donna Clinton. Yeah, and you know what? My grandfather died. My dad's dad died when he was 77 years old. And he died in Sunnybrook Veterans Hospital in Toronto. He was legless. We couldn't look after him in our house, so he was in the home. And Dad would bring him home for Christmas and stuff like that. And my grandfather smoked to the day he died. Smoked in his room to the day he died. And he died at 77. My father died at 73. My father quit smoking. My father quit drinking. When he had his heart attack, he did all the things they told him to do, including switching to Fleischmann's corn oil margarine. Fleischmann's corn oil margarine, made with this is in the 70s, genetically modified corn oil, hydrogenized. And my dad died at 73 because he used artificial sweetener instead of sugar. He used corn oil margarine instead of butter. And you know what I mean? He did all the things the doctors told him to. Quit smoking, quit drinking, switch from butter to margarine, corn oil margarine at that, and, gave up sugar. So tell me, my grandfather who smoked to the day he died and had no legs, or my dad who did everything the doctors told him and died 4 years younger? I just rendered beef tallow that I use for frying, and now I'm making bone meal out of the bones for the garden. Good idea, Kathy. Good idea. I actually, when I did those bones in the pressure cooker for the bone broth, I have those bones in the freezer. I give one to Gracie every once in a while. My mother read a lot, and we were notified only real will be used in this house. Yep. Chili and cabbage roll soup with moose burger. Oh, moose, Lori, moose. My absolute favorite red meat on the planet is moose meat. I love big old a moose roast. Tastes to me like roast beef did when I was a kid before they started feeding the cattle corn and stuff and feedlots, right? Got my garden planted and the radishes are poking through. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Actually, I'm going to be applying for our dough tags. Hopefully one of us will get a dough tag this year so we can put meat in the freezer, but we are also getting us another side of beef and a whole butchered pig. The only thing he does is pepperettes and bacon, and it costs extra, but I guess you can get hams done and it costs extra, but I'm going to get mostly chops, a couple of roasts, and I want the bacon. I want the butcher made bacon. And elk. Oh, well, elk isn't so bad. My brother-in-law owns an elk farm in Fraserville, Ontario. And I've had his elk and it's lovely, but it's still a farm-raised elk. It doesn't taste the same. So, I actually heard an elk bugle once. We were in at the camp. We went into the Zec. We had a little trailer that we got far off back in to a boat landing. And that's where we left it all the time, right? And I remember laying there, and we were so far in, you couldn't even get a cell signal. I mean, you lost your cell signal 20 kilometers before getting to this spot, right? So I remember laying in bed in the camper one night and hearing this, and now I know why they call it a bugle. Because they make this kind of noise, but it's make like a horny bugle noise. Not horny, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I really hope for doe tags this year. I really hope. It would be nice but we both got one, but we'll probably be lucky if one of us gets one, because there's not that many bucks around. Not that many. And when we get bucks, we want the bucks with 2 prongs or 3 prongs or less, because they're still young, right? Bev, you really don't like roast. Can you get the butcher to dice the roast up for you if it don't cost extra? Well, I mean, I'm going to get ground pork. I'm going to get ground pork. I'm going to get chops, and I'm going to get bacon. And I might get a couple of roasts, or, but really, there's only 2 of us, right? Can elk be ordered for someone in Arizona? Is there a company that you're not allowed to sell elk meat? You're not allowed to sell wild game unless you are licensed to do so. Otherwise, people would hunt, freeze it, and sell it all the time, and it would depopulate the deer population, right? We're not like, say, John in Ohio. He can get a deer for every person in his household. Doesn't matter whether it's a doe or a buck. Here, we get 1 ticket. Okay? And if you don't get a doe tag in the lottery, then you have to buy a regular buck tag. So, but I plan on doing a lot of things. Deer is good, but absolutely none of the fat can be kept. The finished product. Yeah, deer has a way of they got tallow, and it can be really nasty tasting, but it makes good hard soap. Okay? If you diced, you can can it like you just did with those gifted roasts. Yeah, I don't think he does that. I think he only does like sausages. I don't know. He doesn't even do sausages, I don't think. He does bacon and hams and pepperettes. I would rather have sausages. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go out and buy a couple of loins from Costco while they're raw, like while they're not frozen, and make sausage patties and freeze them. Right. Yeah, I always keep the fat from the deer. It always gets ground up. And sometimes, you know what I do is I grind up all the you know how you trim the fat off and there'll still be meat to it and bits of hair and stuff sometimes. I grind that and I put it in a pot of water and I boil it, and then I strain it, and I have the water and the fat, and I put it in the fridge, and the next day it'll be like a plate of tallow. And then the rest that I've strained, I just give to my dog. I'm going to be making soap soon, guys. I'm actually going back to making my own laundry soap from bars of soap and washing soda. Need to plan to process your wild game if you can, because there are many laws against wild game processing in butcher shops, which have to use USDA standards. Thing is I haven't bought barred soap since the last time I bought a bar of soap to make laundry soap. I'm going to use my own soap. So there's a lot of things coming up on our half-acre homestead as soon as I heal. There's gardening, there's soap making, there's laundry soap making. We're going to do all this stuff. We're going back to our penny pinching ways. I don't care if I have an energy-efficient washing machine. I always run it on deep water anyway, right? And the trick is with laundry soap, honey, Pam, Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Here's the first thing you need to know. And then I've got to go. Hang on a second. You might want to start leaving if you don't want to stay for the prayer. That's okay. It's, not everybody's for that. But while I'm doing this, I would like to say for all those who care to, we're going to close with a prayer. And I would really, anybody who doesn't want to stay, there's no judgment. There's no harm. There's no foul, nothing. You just don't want to stay. That's it. Okay. Rebatching soap. Oh, here's a good one, folks. Here's one where I make soap with fat drippings. I'm going to show you how many times I have recorded making soap. Oh, here's the one for suet, which is tallow. Suet is tallow. It's beef tallow. It's red meat tallow. Okay? And what else do I have? Okay, that's about it. That's about all I have on that's worth looking at in soaps. All right, now I'm going to pop out the chat, and I got to go start making dinner because it's like 6 o'clock, and I didn't realize it. It's awesome, yes. And if you got a cheap source of coconut oil, it makes the best laundry soap. It's really, really good. Anyway, but we use what we have, right? So for all those who care to, let me put it on live chat here. I don't even know how many people are here. For all those who care to, please help me close. Absolutely. Making soap, I've got 3 bars of RAF soap. I gave a bunch out for Christmas, but I've got 3 bars of RAF soap that are just for me. And I'm waiting for them to get, I'm going to actually unwrap them and just stick the label on the soap with a pin and let them dry even harder. Any kind of soap that comes wrapped in plastic, folks, or even wrappers, if you buy it from the store, if you want it to last longer, unwrap it and put them in a basket, so that they can dry. Soap will last longer if you dry it hard, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. My cousin Dee Dee used to make soap. She had a huge soap business. And now that she's out of the soap business, Raf, you've picked it up because she lived in this area. Well, not in this area. She lives in La Pêche over there somewhere. All right. For all those who care to, please help me close with, I almost said the responsibility pledge. Please help me close with, oh, really? So it's breathable. Oh my God, Ralph, I didn't know that. I haven't used them yet, right? So, all right, folks, let's do some deep breathing. Let's inhale some light and love of the Creator's power. Exhale all the negativity. We kind of talked about stuff today. What we want to do is we want to take the information, the useful part of the information, and store it and use it in the future. But the negative emotions that got us to get to this point, we just want to shove them out. So let's breathe in good, breathe out stale, breathe in light, breathe out darkness, breathe in love, breathe out fear. Okay? Hey, God, creator and source of all. Thank you for bringing us together, God. Thank you for letting us have this platform, this community where we can come together and share ideas and share hope and strength and knowledge. It would be ideal if we could all sit around the table and shoot the shit, but it just doesn't work that way anymore, does it, God? Our table is worldwide. So thank you, God, for bringing us together so that we can share and love and support and raise everybody up within our community. And those who, who want to be or don't even realize they want to be a part of a community that rises up and supports each other, right? So God, there's those folks out there that are still being battered by fear, that are struck dumb and senseless with everything that has been thrown at us in the last 3.5 years. God, we lift all those people, the ones in pain, the ones afraid, the ones discombobulated, the people that are addicted, neglected, rejected, ill, or looking after the ill. God, we lift all these people up to you so that the light of your love can pour down over them, so that they can continue to put one foot in front of the other and still find the strength, even if they don't know where it's coming from, right? We know it's you, God. For the rest of us, God, we just thank you for bringing us together, showing us the light of your love in community and fellowship that we share here. God, thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for allowing us to be a family in this crazy, effed up world. God, please fill us with the light of your love so that as we stretch out our hearts and our hands across the world, we link up with all of our loved ones and our friends and those people who need help. And as your light floods us, it shoots out our arms and we become a big circle of your loving light, God, that shines out and pushes against the darkness and allows people to reach for the light, even when they've been so bogged down in the mud and the muck of the world. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for never giving up on us. Amen. Namaste. Merry meet. Peace be with you. Shalom. Blessed be. Miigwech. Walk in the light of God's love. It doesn't matter what words you use. It's the emotion and the love behind them that gets the message across. Take care. God bless. Patrons, I will see you tomorrow afternoon. Folks, know that on our half-acre homestead, there is no video for tomorrow. I'm just too beat up to sit in this chair anymore. All right? I love you guys. Take care. God bless. And remember, when someone lashes out or throws something negative at you, take a breath and try and look at them as if they were in pain and say, and allow love, not anger, frustration, surprise. Let love look at that person and ask, what's wrong, honey? Okay? Because people don't lash out unless they're in pain or angry or frustrated. So every person who gets angry is actually in pain. So if we look at how we can approach that with calmness and love, then we may help dissipate the pain or help find a solution for the pain. But if somebody lashes out at us in anger and we don't know why, right? We're not giving them a chance. We just snap back. It actually doubles the negative emotion. And then miscommunication starts because now you're too angry to talk calmly. So blah, 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 blah. It snowballs, doesn't it? So even if someone says something that deeply hurts you, even if they're a total stranger. You can say, you can stop, you can say, okay, that was really, really hurtful and really makes me sad. But what made them do that? I can identify of how that makes me feel. I don't think they can even identify the damage they're doing. So please, 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 love is the language, right? Love is the drug. Take care. God bless. Amen. I'll